So, what do you think? Are open houses and broker opens, are they going to be the new thing for listing agents to market their homes? I think so. What are your thoughts? I'm Kathy Burns, and I'm a realtor here in the Lake Norman area, which is just north of Charlotte, North Carolina. So, I am seeing an uptick already. It is August 21st. We are now right in the meat of the NAR changes. And I started to see them here a little earlier because in North Carolina, everything became effective on the 1st. What's really interesting, correct me if I'm wrong, are you not seeing twitches to everything? They keep making it a little different, adding this, adding that. And the fear about the huge penalties happening right away, that's dissipated for a minute, just a minute, because there were people making mistakes. I saw it come out in a report today that said there were already infractions on it. Some were just going to be warnings, but one was a big one, and that was putting in the amount that the seller was willing to pay within the MLS. And they were taking they said right in that letter from the MLS, they will take all your rights away till you get this fixed. Now that was a relief because it was acting before like they were just going to take it away and basically put you out of business. So it's serious stuff, but we're in the meat of it now, and we're all trying to figure it out, including our clients. So our open house is going to be an important piece. I think so. I think an open house is absolutely going to be critical because they don't have to sign a buyer's agency agreement. A buyer doesn't, to go see an open house. So they can start doing a little homework on their own and checking it out, which is great because there's a lot of looky-loos that make you feel like they're going to buy, and they're really not at that stage yet. Now, some agents are not as strong about making sure that you get a proof of funds or a pre-qualified letter. I wasn't taking you in my car till we knew what was going on. You're hiring me to do a job, and in my mind, we're going to exceed at that. We are going to accomplish the task. So open houses give buyers a shot to go in without representation. Remember that though. So that agent that is doing that open house, they represent the seller. They're not going to give you any tips, any insights, because that is not who they represent. They're going to stay true to the seller. So I think having an open house is a brilliant idea. I also think that they should not just be 2 hours long. They should be at least 3 hours long. I saw one guy, he does them for 6. He goes and puts signs out for 4 hours beforehand. I think that is excessive to a degree, except I'm sure he gets results. Now I remember back in 2008, 9, 10, when things were really tough and there was lots of foreclosures, which is a completely different market right now. But if you're going to do an open house, people would have bright yellow signs, and they would be for miles and miles from every direction so that a buyer could not miss the sign. And I think it's back to that style. I think it's a giant big open house flag out front of the house that's 15 feet tall or 10 feet tall to really grab their attention. Because the other thing, you're doing 2 things here. Not only are you potentially bringing in unrepresented buyers that you have the potential to be able to represent, and I'll get back to the dual agency on that in a minute, but what you're also doing is the neighbors are saying, man, that Kathy Burns, she puts on an open house like no other. If I'm going to sell my house, I want Kathy Burns to be my agent. That's right. So you see, it has rippling effects, many. Also, all those people that are driving all around seeing the Kathy Burns for sale sign down the street and directing them in the right direction. Now, you got to think that through. Are you going to have the address on every single one? How are you going to do that? I would have Velcro or something where it comes on and off, or I can write on it, pay attention to your handwriting. I think it's back to those times. I think there's energy involved in doing those open houses. Now I don't personally want to do an open house anymore. However, there are lots of agents that are looking for buyers who are with my firm. And the beauty about EXP, that's who I'm with. We are one firm. We're not a bunch of different franchises where you're restricted of who can represent your property. So I can just reach out to EXP on our internal things and say, hey, I've got an open house here. I'm looking for people that want to have the opportunity to attract unrepresented buyers. And you would be able to be in full freedom to be able to, even though you represent the seller while you're doing that open house. If a buyer came in and said, I'd like you to represent me, I want to put an offer on this house. Well, now you're going to talk about how that all works, because you'll let them know I represent the seller at this open house. But once we leave here, we can talk about, are you qualified, proof of funds, what you're really looking for, so I could show you other homes besides this. And I'll have you fill out the buyer's agency agreement before I show you any homes other than this one. And because you came here, it's a different story. And we'll negotiate my buyer's agency commission. And we'll come to terms on that, because that's how the world works now. And I think that is a great way to get clients. I don't like dual agency, and that's probably why I don't really want to work with buyers myself anymore. I'm at a stage in the game where I can cherry pick what I want to do within the industry. And there's a lot more hungry agents out there who are looking to build their clientele and really build their business. And buyers are a perfect way to do this. And they'll get sellers as a result by doing these open houses, especially if they do them like I'm telling you. And I think that's an important piece. So a broker open, why would you do a broker open? Well, the agents are trying to find out, is the seller going to pay a commission on this house? So I would have a broker open, and I would probably do that maybe 3 hours as well. And I would probably do that as the listing agent. I might have other listing agents on my team that would say, hey, would you let me do it? And I probably would. Now, when I'm there, I'm going to have the signed 220 form by the seller ready to go, because I'll come prepared with the forms that I would need, both as the buyer's agent and as the seller's agent. And the most important thing to a buyer's agent at an open house is the seller going to pay the buyer's agent any commission? And prove it. And the proof is in the 220 form signed by the seller right then. Now, there's a lot of talk out there saying that just submit it when you do your offer. Well, that's tricky. And if I'm an agent trying to figure out if the seller is going to pay, yet I'm out showing you properties, I want to know that the seller is absolutely going to pay, and I want to see a copy of the 220. I think this is where it comes down to, this is being your business. Yes, all of that's negotiable at time of offer, but prove it right up front so that I don't start an offer that I'm going to potentially lose at before I even get started. This is just smart business. I was at a broker open the other day, and I said, is the seller paying? She goes, yes. I said, do you have the 220? She said, not with me. And I said, if I were going to bring somebody, I'd want to see that up front. She goes, you could do that with the offer. I go, that's not how I would do it, is what I'm saying. And the reality is here, there's so many conversations leading in a lot of different directions that not everybody's on the same page. So you have to decide, how are you going to run your business within the rules and be the most effective, so that you're not sitting there at a closing table saying, man, I gave all my money away, or I didn't even get paid. So in my opinion, the broker opens are very important. So if you like this kind of stuff, please subscribe below. I forgot to tell you earlier. Please subscribe below. Have some conversations with me about this. I'm curious to hear how you're going to do it, what you think about open houses and broker opens or broker luncheons. I don't know that we need to do the broker luncheons so much right now. That may change. But broker opens, yes. And if you are somebody who's looking to be with a business where you're really educated at a top level on all these types of changes, how to run your business like a business, how to be mentored, how to have one company that has tools that are incredible and unlike any other, then talk to me about EXP. Schedule a business strategy call with me. I'm looking for hustlers who want to grow and build a business. If that's you, then maybe you're my guy or my gal. I'd love to talk. So let's subscribe, as I said, and please share the word, and I'll see you on the next one. Bye.